Welcome to Shortcuts to Mastery. I'm your host, Maria Henning, and in my universe, life is for growth and time is for bending. So hop in, my friend, buckle up, and let's get into it. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to the Shortcuts to Mastery podcast. I am super stoked because I'm going to share a celebration today, some downloads, some story times, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I just recently hit $500,000 in sales in my business in almost exactly 4 years. My first ever sale, like official sale of me, like not just freelancing, but like actually I have a business now, was in April of 2020. And it is just the very beginning of May, 2024. And this was hit 2 weeks ago. So I think it was like pretty exact, if maybe just a few days after the 4 years exact. For some context, I did make a little bit of income in October of 2019, that one time that I did some freelance work. But if we're going to count it from me going full-time in my business, $500,000 in sales in 4 years. And I do want to clarify, sales means money I've received and also money to come. So cash received up until this point, I think is like 487 or something like that, but secured 500K that will be received over the next couple of months, which is just so insane. And hitting that $500,000 mark is a vibe. And I want to be clear about the, sales secured versus cash received, because it's important to be transparent about things, but it's still a huge milestone. And I want to talk about it. And I want to talk about it specifically with this concept of like arriving at quote unquote the dream. So let's do some backstory. What does that mean? And why did this sort of like land for me recently? So what does that mean? And first of all, just to talk about that, arriving at the dream to me is this idea of like, we're always chasing the carrot. We're like, I want this, I want that. And then we don't realize when we get to something that we had wanted before, that it's something that we had wanted before, because we're so focused on the next step. And so we can be so focused on the next goal, so focused on the next level, that when we arrive to something that we really wanted before, that we were manifesting, that we were working on, it sort of passes us by. And we're like, it's not good enough, or I thought it would look different or something like that. When in reality, you have literally arrived at the dream. So what do I mean by that for me? I recently had this experience maybe 2.5 weeks ago. It took me maybe like 10 days of me being here in Bali, of like walking to yoga class and having this thought. It just sort of hit me. I was like, I am literally doing exactly what I dreamed, which is I work for myself and make a slay living, and I literally do whatever I want, and I'm traveling the world doing it. Like, I think I talked about this probably in some podcast, but the first time I heard the word digital nomad in 2015, I was like, that's for me. I think I might have just talked about this actually, like in the last podcast that I did. Yeah. On my Instagram live, but this is always what I'd wanted to do. And I got here and I was like, well, it doesn't look like the way I wanted. I thought I would be in a more luxurious villa, even though my villa is literally a dream. Or I thought I would be like working so much, but I'm literally working on like my dream stuff that I want to work on. Or I thought that I'd have more money in the bank or bigger months, or I'd look different or whatever. Things that I am still working on, things, because we're always going to be working on stuff. And it just hit me. I was like, no, but this is, even if I thought that everything would be perfect when the time I got here, because that was really my expectation. It's like, oh, when I become a digital nomad, everything will be perfect. The business will be perfect. The bank account will be perfect. The relationship will be there. The body will be whatever. It's like, I thought that everything would be perfect. No problems ever. And that's just not the case. I've been diving super deep into astrology. And today I did a whole like 3-hour masterclass on Saturn, because I'm a Saturn ruled person. And Saturn brings challenges and forces you to be in responsibility. This is another thing I'm going to talk about in my current Saturn transit. And it's like, we're always going to have challenges because Saturn is always going to be transiting through a different chart, or through a different part of our chart. It takes about 2.5 years for Saturn to move through each sign. So to move through each house, if you're using like equal house or whole sign houses, and they take up 30 degrees, in each one. And it's like, we're always going to be having challenges in different areas. And you can still be living the dream, because living the dream is going to include that there are some things that you're still working on, or there's some things that are still, even if they're amazing, you're still maybe working on some things. Because I look around and it's like, okay, yeah, I might not have the body of my dreams right now. That's something I've been working on for a long time. It's called Saturn in the first house natally. Or, I thought the villa would be like even more luxurious. Okay, sure. But it's like, but I'm still super strong and healthy and fit. I'm still living in a fucking crazy luxurious villa where I have a private pool and cleaning twice a week. I actually told the cleaning guys, I was like, I'm sorry, I'm still recording audio. Please don't come, because they're going to come today and, you know, make the bed and refresh the towels and clean the kitchen and whatever. It's like I still have just like this gorgeous place to live in. So why not get super clear about that? And so I think for me, what has really been landing is like, dude, you are here. This is the dream, and you will still want more. You can still work towards more, but like this is still the dream. Like you literally are doing it. Like you literally are in Bali working on your own business, doing whatever the fuck you want with the people that you want to be doing it with, and like feeling amazing. So anyway, it's just been such a vibe. And since I've had that shift, I've had some really beautiful experiences since then. So I think that was, like I said, around like maybe 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago or something like that. Such a vibe. And like I'm remembering I did talk about it a little bit in the last podcast. So that's one thing. And then specifically, the other thing that's sort of like happening to me right now, speaking of the Saturn thing, is my Saturn is transiting through Pisces, which is my second house. So second house transit, second house is like money, finances, home, structure, stability, things like that. And so this Saturn transit has been showing me like all of the holes poked in my financial reality, things that like I thought were going perfect. The accountants I was working with, for example, this is like the main thing I'm dealing with. Accountants I was working with, for example, come to show for it, were literally doing everything wrong. And now I'm having to clean that up. And so certain other things here and there, particularly around finances, like maybe I should have been tracking these things better, or maybe I should have been doing this better, or whatever. So been dealing a lot with like, okay, restructuring finances, whatever. And again, since I've had this download of like, the arriving at the dream, I've been doing alongside that a lot of nervous system work of arriving at the dream financially. So what does that look like? It's like doing meditations and lying in bed I love to like visualize and meditate lying in bed. I'm not really like a sitter upper when it comes to these things. I love to lie in bed and just feel supported and just feel the feelings and feel the sensations of I'm making more money than I know what to do with. Every single month, just avalanches of money show up. Recently, what I've been doing is going to the cold plunge in the sauna. This is like, today will be my third day in a row. And I just lay in the sauna and I literally just picture viscerally every single day waking up to $33,000 in my stripe, because 33K every day equals like $1 million a month, which is like the big, 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 big dream. I'm not even at like 50K a month, but that's besides the point. So I just wake up or I'm in the sauna and I just visualize this experience and I feel it viscerally through my body. So that's something I've been doing and it feels fucking amazing. And I have like many more things to share about that. Or I've been a lot more rigorous around like my tapping and affirmations and doing work around this stuff, because that's what Saturn asks you to do: be rigorous, implement structure, implement routine, be in integrity or whatever. So it's been like, I can't ignore the way I've been feeling around, challenging financial transits or whatever. And it's been such a fucking vibe. And because of that, obviously my financial reality has shifted. And, I've been waking up recently to like sales every single day around the programs that I'm selling. And, people loving everything I'm doing and like talking amongst themselves about how great my programs are and whatever. It's just been such a vibe. So anyway, all that to say, it culminated exactly 1 week ago. 1 week ago, exactly. Am I correct in saying this? Was it exactly 1 week ago? Maybe 8 days ago. I'm not sure. Where I woke up and I had made 4 sales that had taken the By Maria Henning brand to over $500,000 in sales over 4 years. So secured in 4 years, will be received in the next couple of months. That's fucking crazy. $500,000 US, by the way. And I want to talk a little bit about this and the part of the story too. I'll share like sort of what I did on that day. But here is an experience that I have around these numbers that maybe you can relate to. If you're making these types of numbers or you're wanting to make these types of numbers, maybe you're celebrating your first like 2K, coming in a month or a $5,000 month or whatever. I, again, you might relate to this. Maybe it's just me. I don't know, but I think this is a relatable experience. Sometimes those numbers, even though they're life changing for us, can feel small in comparison to like the people that we see on the internet that are like, I make 100K a month or I make $1 million a month or whatever. I'm like this seven figure CEO, whatever. And so I'm like, oh, like 500K took me 4 years to make that. These people make that in 1 month or 2 months or whatever. And it took me like 40 times, the time to make it. And so I've been, again, this is why this is like arriving at the dream. It's like I've been not letting myself arrive at this and just focus on like, but that's not good enough. Like that's like not, not impressive enough. That's nothing. Other people are doing this like in their sleep or whatever. When in reality, every single time I've had another 100K milestone, it blows me away that I have made another $100,000. So what do I mean by that? Like the first goal always was to make 100K. I feel like it's, if you're in the online space, like it's just a very stereotypical goal, like become a six-figure coach. And it's a totally like, it makes sense for that to be a very first milestone. Like that's a number that at the time right now, with like our current society and like economy, like that number feels like a first milestone collectively. We sort of agreed, especially in like the US, of like $100,000 a year, six figures a year is like, ooh, you are like above the norm. That feels like a above the norm sort of goal. And so, okay, had that happen, it took me about a year, or something like that. No, so hang on a second. It took me a year and a half to do that. Um, so anyway, so had that experience. And that took a long time. And then the previous other, couple 100K or whatever came a lot faster. But anyway, all that to say, it's like I've been sort of every time I've hit another milestone of like 100K again, like I'm saying, I'm having this experience of like, oh my God, it's not good enough. And then I'm like, wait, it's one thing to make six figures in general in your business, but then to make another six figures and then another six figures and then another six figures and then another six figures is where I'm at, 500K. It's like, it's a testament to what I'm getting at is that it's a testament to the fact that the business is continuing to work. It wasn't just a fluke. It wasn't just a one time I did this. It wasn't just, oh, I was able to hit six figures, whatever. It's like, no, I then made another $100,000 actually. And it took me less time in the first $100,000 and then less time in the next one and less time and less time and less time or whatever. And so I just want to impart that to you, whatever number you're playing it at. If you are like making $1,000 a month right now, it's like you are continuing to make that every single month. That's crazy. Like every single month, the fact that you keep making that, it's like, it's not just a fluke. It's not just a one-time thing. It's like you are literally doing that. Like there are, and another thing to say about this is I just want to, this is what I'm wanting to do. I want to burst the bubble for you. Like I have burst my own bubble. Like I'm living in this bubble of like these seven-figure coaches and the people that I hire to learn from and like calibrate to, as we say in the online industry, but it's true, are just way ahead of me, which is like, in some ways correct, in some ways, like I could maybe be hiring people that are closer to me, but I like to aim high. Hello, my conscious sun is the gate of ambition. So I'm gonna reach ambitiously. So all that to say, I'm in this bubble where I think that everyone just makes this casually and that everyone lives their dream. And so I should be doing it even better. And that everyone's doing exactly what they want to do and making, hundreds of thousands of dollars doing it when that is literally like could not be further from the truth. The majority of people are not doing this. They're not living their dream. They're not, continuously and consistently making an incredible, income with only the things that they want to do, with only their passion, with only, their soul expression. And if you're not quite full time in your business, if you're still working up to that, it's like there are people who haven't even started that and you're making money doing what you love. Even if it's $10 a month, you're making money with like the thing you want to talk about, with the thing that lights your soul. Like that's crazy. I think like I'm getting it and I need you to get it too, arrive at the dream. Like that's insane. And we can always want more. And we know that we're meant to be super supported too. And like $10 a month is obviously not enough to live on in any part of the world. So like we obviously know that we want more. And yeah, like I think for me, I'll just I won't project this onto you, but if you resonate with this, this will support you. But it's like, I just need to continue to remind myself that like I have arrived at the dream and I will keep going further, but I have arrived. I'm here. It's working out. It's all work. It says, so here's the thing. That is an affirmation that has really, this was the affirmation I was playing with the whole 2 weeks before leading up to this 500K mark. Everything's working out. Everything's working out because here's the thing. Why do we want anything? Why do we want to manifest anything? Because we want, get ready. Why you want to manifest anything, whether it's money, whether it's a partnership, whether it's a house, whether it's a business, whatever, is because you want to feel a certain feeling. You just want the feeling. What's the feeling? Doesn't matter. It'll be different for every single thing. But so some examples of like, I want to manifest a partnership because I want to feel love and I want to feel loved in return and I want to feel cozy and cuddly or whatever. Or I want the business so I can feel powerful, so I can feel self-expressed, so I can feel free. A lot of freedom is a thing a lot of us are chasing. And so you've probably heard this before and have heard then like, just create the feeling, just create the feeling already. And trust me, it works. But let me explain more like my process with that. It's really important to get clear on what you want to be feeling. And it's like, what would I want to be feeling? Like if I'm wanting to manifest, say like the clarity around the financial stuff and like, the cleaning up of all the bullshit that these accountants like created for me. And if I want to clean up or continue to calibrate higher in my business and really stabilize high income months or and create products that are really amazing, whatever. What was the feeling for me? This is for me, like what the feeling I was chasing was. And the feeling I was chasing is, relief because everything's working out exactly as it should be. That was the feeling. It was like, nervous system relax, sigh, deep exhale out, which is such a pearl sphere like contemplation. Get into the master key if you want to know more about that. Big sigh out, big sense of relief and just trust and like, I don't have to control it. It's actually all working out. It's all working out for me. It's all, and my favorite affirmation, it's all happening better than I expected. It's all happening quicker and faster and better and easier than I expected. My favorite one specifically is it happens easier, better, and faster than expected. But not just that, what I realize is that it's all working out. That's the other feeling I want to be feeling. And so for the whole week leading up to this, or 2 weeks or something like that, I just every day was like, it's all working out. It's all working out. Even if there wasn't a sale coming in or there was a challenge here, it was just like, but it's all working out. It's all working out. It's all happening. It's all like working out quickly, more quickly, better, faster than expected, easier, better, faster than expected. There we go. Easier, better, faster than expected. Everything's working out exactly as it should be. I'm on my right path. I'm aligning to what I need to be doing. I can just relax. I can let go. I can be at ease. And after like a couple of days of like more intensely working on that, woke up to $500,000 in sales. And it does help that it was the last, final days of the month. And so there's always like, urgency around the previous sales that are ending. So it was like, last week. So at the end of April. What a fucking vibe, right? What a vibe. Like so incredible. So for you, if you're listening to this, get clear on what's the feeling that you're seeking and start to align to that feeling, like actually create it physically in your body. Use affirmations to bring in that feeling. Like I just did, listen to the rant that I just did and do a similar rant and just be in that energy. And when I think about it in my reality now, it's like I am experiencing that feeling in reality. Everything is working out, like everything, and it is happening easier, better, and faster than expected. I am aligned to my higher path. Everything is working out as it should. I can relax and just let go and just like trust and be in the flow. Like that's actually true. So I don't need to chase it. It's actually here now. And the more that I am with it here now, the more it'll keep being true, faster, easier, better than expected. And will be, also aligning me to like even higher, milestones of success. But even if I didn't hit those different milestones of success or higher milestones of success, I'm literally still living the fucking dream. Let me tell you about my previous couple days. Wake up, chill in my bed, do some of this somatic nervous system meditation work, visualization work, tapping, whatever. Order breakfast from like the local organic cafe, and which is called Cafe with a K. And open my curtains, look at the beautiful pool. Today there's like an injured bird that's like hanging around outside my house. I left him some water and some seed crackers and hopefully he's eating them. But yeah, look around, maybe do some movement. And more recently, these past couple of days, I've just been waking up and like consuming courses. I've been really diving deep into astrology and also consuming a lot of this work around like nervous system and money and whatever. Um, and play Candy Crush while I listen to courses. That's how I absorb information. I have a passive brain and it really helps me to have like a puzzle that I'm processing with visually and with my fingers while I'm absorbing a course or a podcast or something like that. So what the fuck? What have I? And then around 2, I get ready. I pack my bathing suit. I put on my cute little full Lululemon outfit. So talk about luxury. My little Lulu shorts and my Lulu, exercise tube top. Pack my little laptop, pack my water, and I get on my little motorbike and I drive over to the sauna and cold plunge, which cost me like $7, which is insane. I looked up a similar service, by the way, in Houston, and it's like $40 for one visit, which is just like insane. And for like a 45-minute visit versus here at this place, for like $7 to $8, you get 8 hours to do whatever you want. So anyway, just insane prices. So grateful for being here in Bali. And I drive to the sauna and the cold plunge. I spend like an hour and a half, 2 hours there. And then I go to the keto and gluten-free restaurant and order whatever I want. And again, it's all very affordable and it's all organic and it's all delicious. And I just sit outside on my laptop and I work. And what is my work? My work is to talk about all the things that I'm creating because I want to create them and to work with students who like fucking get me and see me and like feel like my best friends. And then I get to like share things I'm inspired to share and I get to design, which like art, like my designing process just feels like arts and crafts, like when I'm designing something for Instagram or a course or something like that, I just get to do arts and crafts. And then I just go home on my little motorbike while I blast Taylor Swift on my phone. And then I just have a great night's sleep and meditate while I go to bed and wake up and do it all again the next day in beautiful Bali where it's just like sun shining and green everywhere. Like that's literally my life right now. What are my challenges? Do I have a ton of excess fat on my body? That's a whole other like podcast. I want to do a podcast around like my health and whatever. And is it uncomfortable to even just sit? Yeah, definitely. Like there's like, I feel excessively heavy. That's a whole journey. I know what's going on. I feel very empowered about it, but like, okay, yeah, I feel uncomfortable there. Is it a super huge pain in the ass to have to go through my 2022 tax return that my accountant's completely fucked up and go through every single transaction? Yeah, that's a extremely overwhelming task for sure. Am I remembering how committed I am to finding a romantic relationship and now I'm having to re-enter that world and it feels a little scary? Yep, definitely. It's not that it's perfect though, but like, did you just hear what my days are? And I just finished a week where I had like 16 to 20 hours or something like that of teaching and readings. I had like 3 teaching sessions. So I taught the Messengers Masterclass, which is all about Richard and Roz Charts, who are the founders of Human Design and Gene Keys. Let's do them correctly. Richard is the founder of the Gene Keys. Roz is the founder of Human Design. They are just messengers of these systems. They just receive them in extremely different transmission experiences. So I got to talk about that. I got to teach about the sphere of evolution and the master key, which is the conscious earth placement. And then we got to do a discussion call on the sphere of evolution with my master key students. But the master key is my Gene Keys reader training program, if you're curious. And then I had 4 readings this week, 2 with the same person. We did her activation sequence and Venus sequence. And then I had the Venus sequence of someone that I had already done his activation and pearl sequence last year. And then a new client for an activation sequence, which was my activation sequence too, is a right angle cross with penetration 4. So my same 4 Gene Keys in my own activation sequence. And like just got to blow their minds and got to give them so much clarity. It's like, that's like all I did this week. And then I had some other like random calls. Like the person who works on my team is like one of my best friends. Shout out Nikki. So I got to have calls with her. It's like, that was my work this week. Like actually like super active work. There's obviously a lot of behind the scenes work that I do in terms of creating content, whatever. But it's like my actual work this week was like to talk and teach and do readings and just channel and like transmit what I know about these incredible systems to these folks. And then I got to like do arts and crafts and design and whatever. And yep, I have to do some uncomfortable accounting work or whatever. Sure. And working on my health. Sure. And re-entering the dating world. Sure. Or thinking about it at least. Yeah, there's definitely challenges there. And this is still my dream. This is still what I've always wanted. This is still like the most fucking amazing thing ever. Hey, just arriving to that now. So good. Literally so good. So where are you not letting yourself arrive at the dream is the takeaway from that. I'll let you contemplate that. Well, let me tell you about what I did to celebrate my $500,000 in sales. So here's a very line two story. The previous day, I had just gotten so sick of not having a motorbike here because last year I had already spent about a month in Bali, just under a month. And I was fine to get around on what's called Grab here, which is similar to like Uber basically, but here because everyone goes on motorbikes, you just get on these motorbikes. Grab bike is what they're called. So these the locals show up who are working for Grab on their little motorbike, and you just you just get on the back, grab on, and you get to just zoom around the countryside. But in the villa I'm staying out now, I'm in sort of like a protected area where the local taxi folks it have blocked the ability for Grabs to come and grab you here. So every day, if I wanted to get into town or move around, if I wanted to leave my villa, I had to like walk like 5 minutes to a pickup spot where a Grab would actually be able to pick me up. And so many times, like the guys wouldn't come get me, or they'd come get me, and I was like almost there, and then they would cancel it and leave because I wasn't there yet, or whatever. Like I just had so many unpleasant experiences with it. It was so frustrating. But I was like, fuck this. I'm just like ready to have my own motorbike. And I kept like, now that I feel really, the word is like ubicada in Spanish. Like if I feel very, localized. Is that the word? I don't know how to translate this word in English, but I feel oriented. There we go. I know where I am in Ubud. I'm very good with directions. I already spent a whole month here last year. Like I was saying, I know where I am. I know where to go. Now that I know that, I am experiencing the desire to explore. It's like, I want to drive around and, I keep seeing this coffee shop and I just want to stop by, but I see it every time I'm in between my one destination to my home. And I'm not going to stop the fucking Uber Grab in the middle of it and be like, never mind, drop me off here. It's like, that's not what I'm going to do. I just wanted my own bike to like go and do that. And so as usually happens with my Gate 51, I just get so agitated to a point where I'm like, I'm just going to do it. So I spent a day Googling all of this, getting an international driver's permit online, whatever, found a guy. And I think it was like on a Saturday. So this must have been Sunday that I went on this experience. So 7 days ago is when I hit the 500K. But yeah, on Saturday of last week, I got a motorbike lesson from this guy. So he comes, picks me up. We go to like the parking lot that everyone does their motorbike lessons in. And within an hour, I'd gotten it. Like within the first 5 minutes, I understood exactly what was happening. It's very similar to riding a bike. I had ridden a lot of like bird scooters in Texas recently, like the like little scooters around the city that you can just rent. They're very popular in California too. So I'd gotten really good at just like accelerating with my hand, because that's the difference between like a car and a motorbike or a bird scooter. It's like in a car you push on the pedal with your foot, but on a motorbike or on a bird scooter you use your hand to accelerate and also to stop and brake. And so because of the bird scooters, I was already very expanded around like using my hands as the navigational tool as well as accelerating and braking. And I just picked it up right away. This is a line two thing. The guy was like, "Oh wow, you already everything, every skill he taught me, he was expecting it to take, I think, 5 times as long." AK, I think he was expecting me to not get it right away on the first try. Like we just went through his entire 2-hour lesson in like 45 minutes. He was like, what is happening? And I was like, dude, this is so easy. Again, just a line two thing. And he was like, you're the best student I've ever had. Like, I was like, of course I am. Just thank you. I know. By the way, if you have issues accepting compliments, start implementing this. Maybe you don't have to say it out loud, but just say it in your head. Say, thank you. I know. Thank you. I know. Accept the compliment. Receive the compliment. If you want to receive money, you got to learn how to receive compliments because you have to learn how to receive in general. Say, thank you. I know. Or in my case, I was just like, oh, thanks so much. Yeah, like I know how to ride bikes. Or like, thanks. Yeah, this is pretty easy. It feels intuitive. Whatever. But in my mind, I'm like, of course, I'm aligned too. I'm going to pick this up easy. So I learned how to ride a bike in like less than an hour. We go he takes me back to my house so I can practice riding on the street, which was not supposed to be for, like, another lesson on another day. Like, I was supposed to spend 2 hours in this parking lot, but I only really spent, like, 45 minutes there. We drive back to my place. I drive on the street for a little bit, learn how to do that, and I'm like, "I'm good to go." So I text, my friend Katie here, and I was like, "Let's go get a bike from the person you rented your bike from." Boom. So I go to her place. I rent a freaking bike first day. And I was like, "Perfect." And Kitty was like, "Do you wanna leave your bike at my place?" It was very close to the rental place, and my to get to my place from Katie's place slash the rental place, there's a huge hill with, like, a lot of potholes. And I was like, "No, I'm good. I feel really at peace on this bike. Like, I feel like I can totally do this." And she was like, "Okay." So she was very sweet and just drove with me to my place to make sure nothing happened to me while I was on the bike. And so at peace. Like, first of all, I had already been riding this road more than 2 times a day, every day since I've been here and knew exactly where all the potholes were and, like, how to move about them. And I can feel what it feels like when you're on a bike. It feels when you're on the back of a grab bike, you know what they're doing if you're aware of your body. So it was just really easy. I was like, let me just emulate exactly what I've been feeling like these guys are doing when I'm on the bike. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. Great. Amazing. She left me at home. Awesome. Go to sleep. I have my bike. I'm just like, amazing. Next day, wake up to $500,000 in sales. And I'm like, what? And I'm just sitting in my bed. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I'm like feeling it in my body. And I'm just like, oh my God, the dream. We're here. It is working out. See, it is working out. Like, first thing I did was like text Katie. I was like, dude, it is working out. Look. And we're like celebrating and just like so happy. Um, and yeah, just vibing. And she had planned that day to go in the pool with a friend. And I was like, that sounds like a really nice plan. And I live 3 minutes away from like a pool club called Jungle Fish here. So think of like you know, sort of like the pools that you see in Bali, if you've seen any sort of like Bali TikTok or Instagram or whatever, where like the pool has like a view of like a huge jungle ravine situation. And I'm like, I want to go to Jungle Fish. I like put on my swimsuit. Um, it's 3 minutes. I'm like, great. I can just like drive around and do this, put on my little swimsuit and, get into my motorbike and I just start driving. And it's supposed to just be 3 minutes down on the right. And I literally never see the sign for it. And by the way, I've driven this road every day since then, and I have never once seen the Jungle Fish sign. And I went to Jungle Fish last year, so I know it exists. And I was looking for that sort of entrance and did not see it. So I think it's like must be on another. I need to probably take another turn or something like that. And I don't see it, and I know that I have missed it. Even though I'm not using my GPS because I'm like, let me just see if I can see it. And I was just driving, so I wasn't gonna stop and pull out my phone, and I go, "You know what? It is such a gorgeous day. Let me just go around and explore." And this is such a good intuitive exercise, and it's something I do a lot. I'm someone that has been working on developing my intuition and psychic gifts also over the last 4 years that I've been in business and beyond. And it's something that I used to do intuitively anyway when I traveled solo, because I've just always traveled and explored solo. Hello, Sag North Node. And, I was like, "Let me just explore." That's all I wanted to do anyway with getting this bike. I just wanna explore. I wanna be able to go around and see the things I haven't seen and just, like, have a great day, you know? So I just start driving. I just keep driving, and I'm driving north and north and north on this, like, little tiny path, and, it's such a gorgeous day, and, like, where I'm staying, there's just a lot more, like, the rice paddies, because we're out of the city, and so I'm just seeing the rice paddies, and they're just being it's like super sunny, it's like this gorgeous day, and I'm just driving around, and I'm like, "I know that intuitively I'm gonna arrive somewhere beautiful. I'm gonna arrive somewhere beautiful, and it's gonna be fucking amazing." And eventually I get the nudge to turn left, so I turn left, and I turn left, and as I turn left, I'm, like, going up and down these huge hills, and I'm like, "Oh, wow, okay." And then I get the hit to turn right again, so I turn right, and going north and north and north and just, like, having a great time, and at some points, I'm seeing, like, super natural looking places, and other times, I'm, like, more like a city vibe, town vibe. I get the nudge again, "Take a left here." Okay, I take a left, and again, going down huge and huge hills, and I get to a place where there seemed to be, like, an attraction of some kind, and I stop, and it says Green Gaja, I believe, and there's, like, a waterfall there, and it's like, "Oh, park your motorbike here and, get a ticket to see the waterfall." I'm like, "This looks pretty." And it was, like, I was, like, kind of in the middle of the mountain, but, like, at a sort of, like, viewpoint area, so you could see, like, the valley in between, so you could, like, see the mountain on the other side, like, it was just, like, really beautiful. I was like, "This looks really pretty, but is this the place where I wanna go?" And my intuition was like, "Nope." This is not the place. You could call it, also sacral response. Like, it was like, there wasn't really like a there was a sacral response, like stop and just briefly check on my phone, like, where the fuck am I? And I was like quite far, um, uh, and nowhere that I had ever been before. And I was like, yeah, no, this isn't the place. So I just get up back on my bike and I just keep going. And I'm going up huge hills. I mean, this is like a very windy path, a huge hills up and down, really windy, really twisty, like definitely not something that I would recommend to anyone in their second hour ever on a motorbike. Sorry, parents, if you're listening to this. But I just felt so comfortable with it, and I felt so at peace, and I was not nervous at all on the bike at all. It felt so natural and intuitive. So, unless you're having that experience, also something to consider, maybe just being careful. Um, and so yeah, I'm just like vibing, driving around, and I finally go down this huge hill, cross a valley at the bottom part of it on like a little bridge, and I'm like, "Oh, I guess we're gonna go back up." I go way back up, and I end at this like intersection where I had to turn left or turn right, and it was like a very small town situation. Like, when I would say small town, I mean like one road with a couple houses on it. And there's a sign that says Hanging Gardens of Bali to the left, and it like looks very luxurious. And I was like, I think I've heard of that. Yeah, that sounds good. And I take a left and I'm just going down this like the most adorable street. We're at the top of the mountain now. So like this adorable street, like you know, on the top of this mountain, there's amazing view and there's like flowers because Bali is very green and like there are flowers, sure, but like it's mostly green. So for there to be green and like tons of flowers everywhere, like it looked like a tropical Spain, so to speak, like a tropical Galicia. It was freaking gorgeous, and, like, just here's the thing I love about Bali. The locals smile at you. Like, the warmest, most trusting, sweetest smiles. Like, the heart of the Balinese people is something truly to be studied, like, it and just bask in, like, it is so golden and pure. So I'm just, like, smiling at all the locals, and the kids are, like, waving and saying hi, and there's just, like, dogs everywhere, and it's just such a fucking vibe. And I get to the end, and it says, like, Hanging Gardens of Bali to the left. One more left turn. Again, it's another, like, T stop. And there's, like, I mean, this is like the cul-de-sac of, like, a neighborhood, and again, the neighborhood being, like, one street. And so I go, "Great, okay, I'm turning left," and I get there, and, there's a gate first, so I talk to the guy at the gate, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm not a guest here, but I'd like to have lunch here. Is there a place I can do that?" And he goes, "Yeah, go to the lobby." So I go, "Great." Go to the lobby, park my bike, walk to the lobby, and the lobby is sort of like you don't really know what you're gonna get when you get to this lobby. It's a beautiful lobby, yes, but the lobby's at the top of the mountain, versus the rest of the hotel is, like, down the ravine, so you can't really see it unless you, like, get right over the edge and start looking down, and even when you look down, you will see just mostly plants. So they're sort of, like, covering a lot of this hotel, but I'm just like, "This is where I'm supposed to be." Like, I had brought my journal with me too because I wanted to journal about, how I was feeling and, like, arriving at the dream or whatever. And I get there and I'm like, "Hi, I'd love to have lunch here." And they're like, "Yep, if you're not a guest, you just have to, like, minimum spend this, and so we'll just charge you now, and you can just use that as a credit to get whatever you want." I was like, "Incredible." And, like, this is a five-star hotel, and the minimum spend was, like, $20. So, like, this is, like, insane. And I post on my stories that I've arrived at this place, and I'm like, "I hope there's an amazing view on the other side of this." I have a feeling, but I'm just, like, really hoping. And when I finish paying the, like, minimum spend thing, and I get my little receipt in an envelope with my credit, I see, someone who was working there sort of walking up some stairs, and I go, "Oh, hi, yeah, I'm just going to the restaurant. Is this where the restaurant is?" And implying that I'm going to walk down those stairs. And she goes, "Oh, no, no, hang on a second," and gets her other friend who is, the attendant that's gonna take me there, and she calls a freaking mountain elevator to come and get us. Okay, I don't know if you've seen this on Instagram or TikTok, but they're like in Bali and maybe other places. To get up and down mountain like hotels and villas and stuff like this, people like they will install like a little elevator roller coaster thing that takes you like up and down the mountain. And I had seen this last year. One of my friends had sent me this last year, being like, "You have to go here when you go to Bali." She had never been. She was one of my Boston friends. She had just seen it on her Instagram, and she was like, "When you take your trip, you should go here." And I looked into it, and it was a hotel that you needed to stay out to use the elevator. And I was like, whatever. but I had in my field, I would love to do that one day. And so I literally get here and she's like, no, let me call the elevator for you. And we sit there and I'm like, what? And you can see this in my story. If you want to see the story, just like DM me or something. I can find it for you and send it your way. But it's like, what the fuck? So I just like get in this elevator and we're like going down and just seeing these gorgeous flowers and plants and like it's just such a beautiful day. And like the breeze is coming in. I mean, it was such a sensational experience. Sensational meaning like physical body sensations, like smells, sounds, feelings, sights. Like, oh God, just incredible. And I get downstairs to the restaurant and it is like the most beautiful open air fucking restaurant you've ever seen with like two infinity pools over one another and like a beautiful I'm not like a big fan of like the infinity pools that are just like a rectangle and just a little waterfall over them. I like the ones that look really organic and these ones were like that. They were like they just sort of looked like little cliffs that were wiggly and squiggly, sort of overlooking the huge valley, and you could just see down and down and down, just endless amounts of plants over these two pools, and it was just like, what? This is where I've arrived. And so I'm posting on my stories like, hello, there was a view, it was worth it. And I just get there and I'm taking my pictures and I'm sitting down and I'm ordering my coconut and my food, and I totally had many happy tear moments that day, just like laughing maniacally to myself and being like, what the fuck? This is my life. Like, I'm here. I woke up to 4 sales that took me over the $500,000 sale mark. And I just drove on a bike and explored this, like, just landed somewhere, trusted my intuition, arrived at this 5-star hotel with a freaking infinity pool and like this incredible food and whatever. And I'm just like here. And I proceeded to spend the whole day there. And it was so perfect because I already had my swimsuit on. So I could like go in the pool. So I immediately just get in the pool. And I'm just looking over the ravine. And I'm just contemplating my life. I took some sleigh content. It was great. I was like, I'm truly like a Bali influencer. I love this. Which again, also one of my dreams is travel vlog, travel influencer vibes. Um, I'm having the best drinks, like coconut water and pineapple juice, and like one of the best freaking cappuccinos I've ever had. Just like such a vibe. I have lunch, I get dessert, and I'm just chilling and journaling and like listening to. I did another like it's tour season, and I'm in a transit membership, an Astro transit membership with Oath Oracle Aishidorani. Because I've learned astrology over the years just by picking it up, by just learning about the current transits and by literally people's free content online. And I was like, okay, I could talk about my astrology journey if that's interesting to anyone. Definitely respond to me and let me know if that's something that you want to hear. But the whole time that I've been learning human design and gene keys, I've just been picking up astrology because of that, and also because I just consume content about it anyway. And I've known that at some point I'm going to do a really big astrology deep dive so I can really learn to read charts other than just my own. And this year, and I said, and I want it to be, I was like, I would just love to like, I literally said like, I would just love to learn about it through the transits and just like literally learn about transits every day, like the daily like I just want someone who's teaching that. And then Aisha launched a transit membership and I immediately joined. So she's like sending in a meditation for like Taurus season and like, feeling into, abundance and whatever. And I'm like doing this meditation and like the cabana by the pool with my freaking coconut and cappuccino and my fried banana, gluten-free banana, chocolate, whatever. Like, oh my God, it was so fucking luxurious. It was so amazing. And like I said, I spent the whole day there and it was such a vibe and such a remembrance and arriving again of like the dream. And again, here's an experience that I was having. It's like I saw the other people there and there was a feeling of like, oh, they're more worthy. The immediate trigger was like they're more worthy of being there because they're actually guests here and like they're actually staying here. And so they actually belong here. I'm just here for lunch. I'm just an imposter of just showing up for lunch. And I was like, what is this thought? Because that makes no sense. This is actually my daily normal life. These people are also having their life, but this might be just their vacation, which I ended up talking. I took Katie there a few days later and she had said the same thing. It was like, this is like their vacation versus like we were talking about this experience. And I was like, but this is my normal life. I'm just coming here because I live on this island right now and I'm just exploring the island and I just ended up here and I live on this island because I work for myself and I can totally, if I want to, have lunch at a 5-star hotel and spend the whole day by the pool if I really want to. Like that's the freedom of time and money that I have and location. And it was like, what? It's like, not to say that I'm now more worthy than these people, but it's just like, I'm just having a totally different experience. Both are valid, but just because they're guests at the hotel and I'm just here for lunch and pool does not mean that like I am less worthy of being there or that I'm an imposter. It's like, I actually am equally as valid here. And mine is like even more casual and almost like more like this is my norm because it's not my random once a year vacation. This is like my norm just gets to be having lunch and spending the day by the pool at a 5-star hotel, which I did 4 days later when I took Katie. So such a fucking vibe. Again, so remembering like arriving at the dream, I was like, no, this is my normal life. Like I'm here, I can do this whenever I want. This is crazy. And it was just such a fucking vibe. And I ended up going home later and just going to sleep and just feeling so beyond satisfied. And it was just like the perfect manifesting generator, peace, satisfaction day. And it was such a fucking vibe. And what was so nice about it too is that it was so quiet. There were very few people here. I did have one experience I want to share about in a second, but it was very quiet, very few people there versus like Junglefish. I had been last year and it was really fun, but it was more like a club type of vibe. So there's like a DJ playing music. There's a lot of people walking around, like lines to get into the bathroom. Like it was like kind of very crowded, honestly. It's like not just like wet everywhere and like not a lot of like space to like if you didn't get there early, you're not going to have a cabana type of vibe. Versus here, there was like barely anyone there. I had the attendants basically full attention. Got the cabana I wanted, no problem. Got to spend all day there, no problem. Quiet. Oh, the best music. Really, really good music. Like and like the perfect volume. It was like very quiet. You could still hear it. Not like quiet enough that you hear only like the beat. And so therefore you get like kind of annoyed because you're like, what's playing? You can hear everything very clearly, but it was just like soft. Oh, such a vibe. It was just perfect. It was exactly the vibe I wanted for that day. I wanted to chill by the pool in manifesting generators, satisfaction and peace. Peace being the city of my SQ. So it's like just such a vibe. And eat whatever I want and like meditate and journal and just cry tears of joy about how this is literally my dream. So good. And like after I finish this recording this, I'm gonna go to the sauna and the cold plunge and then hang out and edit this podcast episode, send it out later. But it's like in between me recording, editing, I'm gonna go to the sauna and the cold plunge for $7 and then eat whatever the fuck I want. Anyway, it's just such a fucking dream. So thank you for listening to my story about that. And I hope it inspired you to remember that you might be living your dream or you might be living the dream of a previous version of you. You know, like we can still at our current state have a future dream. I still have a future dream. I want to wake up every day to $33,000 in my stride, 100%. And that is happening. I don't care when. I hope it's sooner rather than later, but I know it'll be easier, better, faster than expected. But this is what I've been dreaming of since 2015. I've been dreaming of this for 9 years to go to Bali specifically. And like, I didn't know that it was going to be hanging gardens at Bali day and sauna and cold plunge, but basically this, like work however I want, buy the pool, like vibe out, eat healthy food, like live my dream. This is literally it. This is literally fucking it. This is my college age me. This is her dream and I'm making her proud. And that is making me really emotional. Okay. Oh, how are you making past you proud? Please remember that. Please remember that. And the more you connect to that you have arrived, the more arriving you will do, which means you'll arrive to your future dreams faster and you'll actually arrive there and feel relaxed and like nervous system regulated about it, if that is even an adjective. So, what a vibe. What a vibe. Okay. 2 quick asides about this that I think are funny. I have had a lot of experiences in my life with setting boundaries with random men in the world. So 2 things about this. Number 1, this is like a total, this is a pivot because on my Hanging Gardens of Bali day, there was like an imposing male presence. And then yesterday when I was at the sauna and cold plunge, again, another like imposing male presence. And I just want to talk about it because they both happened very recently. And I want to talk about it from the context of setting boundaries with people and projecting the energy that you want to project. So something that I have always subconsciously done, I think it's a defined splenic thing. I think it's a gate of the fighter thing. I think it's a gate of shock thing. But I project a very specific flavor of aura when I am in a situation that might feel a little bit unsafe. So like walking down Boston at night when I was a college student or, being on the train in New York as a student, traveling solo as a woman, and being alone in these places, even though there's 5-star hotels, there could still be fucking weirdos there, whatever. And the specific flavor of aura that I project, this is such a like pivot from this story, but I just have to share it. The specific flavor of aura that I project is an aura of pure violence. The thought that I have when I'm walking down the street and I feel like there might be some unsafety around me is, "Don't touch me, I'll fucking kill you." That's literally the thought I have. Can you tell that I'm a Scorpio stellium and Capricorn stellium? Anyway, so because of this, I have literally never been fucked with. I've had the privilege of basically having never been fucked with on the street. People have catcalled me, whatever. Like people have like followed a little bit or tried to come up to me or whatever, but I have had the privilege to have never been taken any further than that. And because I project an energy of do not fuck with me. And this is the teaching I want to share from this is like your identity and like the aura you project is what people will receive subconsciously and therefore they will treat you differently. So if you want to be treated differently anywhere else in your life, anywhere in your life, think about what are you projecting of how they should treat you. So like this is I can take this teaching for like other areas of my life, like say romantic relationships, or like I want to be treated a certain way. My last long-term relationship, I wasn't treated very well because I did project an aura of like this is my standard. I'm not going below it. And I've had some really cool experiences around like setting higher and higher standards around this. But always my minimum standard for like safety on the street or whatever in a club is like, I will always be safe. No one will ever touch me. I will be literally, I can fight for my life. I will always be safe. I can always get myself out of any situation. And it is an aura of violence. Do not touch me. I'll fucking kill you. I will. This is so violent, but I've got to be so honest. And I do believe this keeps me safe. It literally feels, and this is so vulnerable because like I do this, I tell this to my students, but like telling it on like a podcast is so funny, but I genuinely like, this is who I am around this kind of stuff. Like when I feel like my life is in danger, it feels like, don't touch me. I'll fucking kill you. I will literally rip you to shreds, bathe in your blood and laugh maniacally while I do it. Like that is the level of like Harley Quinn unhinged violence that I project. And again, like I'm telling you, just apply this to any part of your life. Who do you want you to treat you a certain way? Step into that, step into that role. So anyway, the other lesson about this is that at the Hanging Gardens of Bali and at the sauna yesterday, I felt these two imposing male presences. And both times, the first time at Hanging Gardens of Bali, there was like maybe like a 5% self-gaslighting. Like mostly I was like, yeah, I know this guy has like a weird intention. But like a little bit of me was like, but like just ignore him, like whatever, just have a good time. It's fine. But I could tell that this person had an intention of like trying to talk to me and they were not dangerous men, by the way, in this instances. But I could tell that they wanted to talk or wanted to, I'm sure ask me out and hang out and then whatever, get whatever they wanted, whatever. But I don't know what their end of the day intention was, but obviously we can imagine it. And so I'm there at Hanging Gardens of Bali and I get my own cabana and there's no one there. And all of a sudden I see this guy. Like immediately after I sit down, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And then 5 minutes later, I like look to my right and like he's sitting, a guy that I'd seen leave. I thought I'd seen him leave an hour ago, was all of a sudden sitting at the cabana, like one down from me. So there was like one in between us and then he's sitting at the other one there. And again, it was just this intuitive feeling. So my other teaching here is like, trust your intuition, always, trust your vibes, always. And like, I feel his imposing aura. Like I energetically feel it. Like it is affecting my ability to just be at peace and like do what I want. Feels like a bubble that's pushing into my space. And he's like on his phone and he's like on calls and like singing happy birthday to someone. Like he's not looking at me. Actually, he was looking at me at the beginning. He was like staring at me when I went to the bathroom and stuff. It was very uncomfortable. But after that, he wasn't looking at me. He was doing his own thing. But when you can tell it's like a attention seeking, like, look at me, look at me, look at me, whatever. And I just set the energetic intention of don't talk to me, I'll fucking kill you. And like I felt more protected after that experience. But then the waiter comes by and I ordered something. And because I had spoken to the waiter and had turned more in this other random guy's direction, after the waiter left, this guy immediately swoops in because I'm sort of turned in his direction. But before I can turn away, he swoops in and is like, hey, are you having a good time? Are you enjoying your weekend? And starts talking to me. And I can tell immediately, I'm like, this guy wants to talk. He wants to hang out. He wants to like have company or whatever. And I'm like, and I'm not here for it. This is not what I'm doing. And I say, yeah, I'm enjoying my weekend. How about you? And he was like, yeah, I'm having a great time. Are you staying here by yourself? Where are you staying? Yeah. Not a great question to ask a solo anyone, let alone a solo woman in this society. Do not ask somebody if they're by themselves. Okay. And let alone staying by themselves. So yeah, super creepy question to ask right away. And I get it. It's like, you know, sure, like it took him some confidence, I'm sure, to come up to me, whatever. But like, and maybe he wanted to know if like if I was in a relationship and was even available to speak to him, maybe. But I was just like, this is not cool, man. Like that is so creepy. Like that's like I know what you're doing and I feel safe because I know I can handle myself and whatever, but like that's not good flirting advice. Like what are you fucking doing? Anyway, I don't answer to his question. And I say I said I'm just enjoying my day. And I try to turn away. And he asked me another question. I don't remember what it was, maybe something like, I don't know, are you enjoying the pool, whatever? And I look at him straight in the eyes and go, hey, I don't want to talk. I'm not here to talk. I'm here to have a nice day by myself. But thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. Super clear, super clear cut. He goes, oh yeah, no. And he like, you could tell it just changed his energy completely. And he goes, okay, yeah, no problem. And he literally leaves. Where he was like sitting at the cabana before for like 45 minutes, just on his calls, whatever. No, the only reason he was there is to try to figure out a way to muster up the courage to talk to me. And, all respects to him and his courage. Again, not a good approach. And he was already imposing on my space the whole time beforehand. But again, I just had this moment of clear boundaries. I'm not here to talk. I'm here to have a great day. I'm here to have a nice day by myself. But thank you so much. And he walked away. And it was the same experience yesterday. I go to the sauna and the cold plunge. I park my bike and I'm parked like in a way where I could have moved a little bit further to the right and there would have been another parking spot next to me. But I was parked a little bit too much to the left of the parking spot next to me was going to be a little too tight, but I figured the parking attendants would take care of it and I would just walk away. But a guy comes in and he wants to park and I'm like, okay, no problem. I'll move it. He's like looking at me and like about to leave and I go, no problem. I'll move it. So I move the bike a little bit and he comes in and parks. And, and we sort of walk in together because we were done parking, which I always love. I love talking to strangers. I'm an Aquarius rising. What a vibe. And he's like, how are you? And I'm like, oh, great. Like better now that I'm here. How about you? And he's like, I'm perfect every day. Okay. Huge ick, whatever. And I go, wow, what kind of deal did you make to be perfect every day? And he was like, oh, I work on my mindset and I use affirmations and I don't care, nobody cares about how I feel. So I have to care about how I feel. And I was like, what a crazy answer. As if I've never worked on my mindset or affirmations either, but okay. And I go, oh, it's crazy. Great. Well, awesome. Have a nice day. Go to my sauna, cold plunge, have a great time. I go order my food. I'm by the pool. I'm working, whatever. And I see this man appear. And I fully ignore him. And I'm looking at my, video. I'm like learning about cold plunging and sauna techniques, whatever. And he sits in the cabana next to me or on like the little pool bed next to me. And I fully ignore him. And I know he's trying to talk to me and I have no interest. And he walks away eventually. He doesn't look at me or anything like that. But again, I can just feel the imposing aura. I can just feel there's an intention there. There's an agenda. Like there's an intention. Anyway, he leaves. And I'm like, oh, thank God. My aura, don't touch me. I'll fucking kill you. Okay. He comes back. And I'm wearing my noise canceling headphones as I do. And he's talking to me and I can't hear anything he's saying. And it takes me a second. I was drinking something at the time. And it takes me a second to like close the bottle. So I'm using both my hands. So I still can't take the AirPod out. He's still talking to me. And I'm staring at him, closing the bottle. And like he's still talking. And I finally take my AirPod out and I go, what? And he was like, oh, sorry. And I was like, yeah, what's up? No, how's it going? And he was like, yeah, no, I'm just having a good time. What about you? I was like, yeah, I'm just working. He was like, oh, okay. Well, what are your plans for the rest of the day? And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to work. What about you? And he's like, oh, work. Like, but well, I'm going to a party. I was like, awesome. Good for you. Then I like try to get back to work. And he was like, yeah, do you want to come? And I was like, oh, no, thanks so much. But I'm going to work. I'm just working for the rest of the day. He was like, well, no, but it's important to take breaks. I mean, like, I remember last month, I just worked for the whole month straight. I was like, okay, same. Or do you want a cookie? But he was like, you really need to take breaks. And he had, and when he said he was going to a party, he told me more about it. And it was like, or I don't, at some, whatever. I say like, okay, awesome. Yeah. Like, well, I mean, I'm still working, but like, tell me about this, whatever. At some point, he told me about the party. Long story short, I had known at a certain point that this party was an hour away in Canggu by the beach. And he insists again at some point, I don't remember when, on like, come on, like, let's just, whatever, let's go to the party. And I had to look at him dead in the eye and go, I am not driving to Canggu tonight. I live 20 minutes away. I'm working tonight. I'm not going to go to Canggu tonight, but thank you. Like, what the fuck, dude? I'm not going to drive an hour to the beach and back at night when I have no plans to do so, with a total fucking stranger. That I'm feeling the imposing aura of, that does not feel like a completely safe stranger. Like, he felt like 90% safe, but there was like a weird like 10% like, which is already a no. It's like, no. And it's just like, just look straight in the eye. I am not driving to Canggu tonight. And it's like, and he was like, okay, great. And he walked away. And it's like, here's a lesson from all of this. Because I have been reflected this back to me many times by friends over the years. Like, I remember in college for the first time being at a club and rejecting men's advances and having my friend say, oh, Maria, when you say no, it makes me feel like I could say no too. I'm like, what? You don't feel like you could say no? Oh my God. And like recently, just like over the years, I've always been reflected back that I have like really good boundaries around this stuff. And I've talked about it a lot more this year too, for some reason, because I had another really interesting experience in December of like another weird situation where I was at a coffee shop and it was only men there. And I'm just like looking down and waiting for my coffee. And one of the men is talking to me all of a sudden. And I don't hear what he says. And I look up at him and I go, what? And he says, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were here. I didn't mean to say what I just said. I just said something really inappropriate. And I look at him dead in the eyes, having no idea what he said. And I go, don't say it again. And he just laughed because he thought I was going to be like, oh, problem, it's fine. Like a good little girl. He immediately laughs. And then within 2 seconds, the laugh ends and his face just completely drops. And it's like, again, I just have this experience um, of like, you know, like, dude, like, no, I'm not, I'm setting this boundary here. So anyway, I just keep getting this reflected back to me. I've talked about it a lot recently in my courses. So I wanted to share it here. Like, you don't have to accept anyone's weird advances, and you can set boundaries verbally of like what you're available for and what you're not available for. Like, you can do that. That's totally safe for you to do. So and use your words. Just tell people, I'm not interested in that. I'm not driving to Chingu tonight. I'm not here to talk. Another thing that's happened to me a lot recently in concerts. I go to concerts, men want to talk to me. I'm not here to talk. I'm here to listen to the music and dance. Stop fucking talking to me. I don't say that last part. I'm kind. Kind but firm. Anyway, I hope you get something out of that, but I just had to share it because it was just like, I just had this crazy experience around, number one, I'm able to project an aura of like what I want to protect me. And I'm also able to speak my words and my boundaries really well, which I had this whole podcast with Eric Roberts around setting boundaries around the 2-5. And will be, yeah. And like, I just really recommend listening to that because I just think it's super important. Like, set boundaries. It's super important. Anyway, I'm running late to the sauna. So I'm going to go, but I want to tell you about some stuff that's happening. It's the beginning of May. It's Taurus season, and we're focused because the astrology is such a vibe. We have Venus in Taurus and Jupiter in Taurus. So like, both the planets of money are in like the sign of money, to be very simple astrologically. Uranus is in Taurus. So like, revamping and revolutionizing the ways that we make money, etc. What I'm creating this month is like, what I'm launching this month, what I'm offering this month is all of my stuff around money making, which means, or specifically, I'm reopening Readings on Repeat, which is my reading business program. If you are an astromancer, if you read human design, gene keys, or astrology charts for a living, even energy readers and tarot readers have taken this program, and other types of readers, like Akashic Records readers, have taken this program to build a reading business. We are opening that up again for enrollment in about a few days' time. And there are going to be some bonuses for early bird. There's going to be some bonuses for pay in full. And there's going to be new bonuses for everyone that enrolls and everyone that has already had access to it. Because if you buy my programs, you get access to them and their updates for life, which is going to be such a vibe. The other thing that's happening is the Canva program is going up in price right before Readings on Repeat opens. So the pre-sale price of $297 is going up to $497 soon. And this is a program for any person who needs to create graphics for a digital business. So graphics for digital businesses and online businesses are very specific types of graphics. There is a formula to this. There's a way to make Instagram graphics, to make thumbnails for your digital products, to make Instagram stories. That works. And the way to do it most efficiently, in my opinion, if you're a beginner at this, is in Canva. And Canva has a lot of things you can do with it that are very simple that make your graphics look so elevated that I want to teach you. I have taught this to social media managers that don't know these Canva tricks, and they work for other people in Canva, and they didn't know this. So I will teach you the Canva hacks, the organization, tips and strategies and branding strategies. If you've never done any of this graphic design or branding work before, if you want to create your own visual brand and then use that to then create content that converts on Instagram, on TikTok, on stories, on thumbnails, for your digital business, this is the program for that. For total beginners that want to create really elevated looking graphics, but simply and not with like Photoshop or like Adobe Suite or anything like that. That is that program. So that goes up in price in a few days. After that, Readings on Repeat opens. There's going to be some really juicy, fun bonuses that relate to these Taurus themes of money and things like that. So look out for that. And another bonus that I'm not going to say yet, that's going to be such a vibe. And I just can't wait to have you in there. I'm going to do some podcast episodes on how I created Readings on Repeat, more about, the frequency of an abundant reader and all of that good stuff. It's just going to be such a vibe. So let me know if you have any questions about that. And I will link all of this stuff below in the show notes. And I hope you enjoyed my story of celebrating my 500K in sales, using my boundaries and words around imposing auras and trusting your intuition. And I hope to see you inside some of my programs, including the Canva program or the podcast program, which are still both on pre-sale, Canva being on pre-sale, and of course, Readings on Repeat, which opens up soon if you're serious about starting and or scaling an astromancy reading business online. Okay, love you so much. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. All right, my friend, thanks for joining me on another ride aboard the Shortcuts to Mastery spaceship. You can get started on your human design and Gene Keys journey with me today for free by going to mariahenning.com/chart, which is linked below. If you're a visuals lover as well as an audiophile, then definitely join the party over on Instagram at @ByMariaHenning for lots of fun and beautiful educational content. And to tag me in the stories with the episodes you listen to so I can repost you. And of course, if you're here, you know it totally rocks for podcasts to receive great ratings. So if you're feeling warm and fuzzy and want to share, I'd be eternally grateful. I can't wait to connect again. Thanks for being here. And until next time, here's to everything going easier, better, and faster than expected.